Okay, let's do practice 8, RAC database monitoring and tuning. And this lesson has 3 segments of practice activities. And we pretty much run same workload for same testing, but you will see a different result because we're going to set up environments slightly differently. So we have a practice 8-1 and also practice 8-2, practice 8-3. So we're going to start with the practice 8-1. Before that, let's take a look at overview. The goal of this practice is to show you how to manually discover performance issues by using Enterprise Manager, Express Performance Page or pages, as well as ADDM. Practice 8-1 generate a workload that uses a bad RAC application design. We create index. For example, you created the index, but that is not selective index, for example. So when you make DML transactions, then your index system also have to be modified, and then because of the changes to index block, they will have to be transferred across multiple instances, and they may cause some the performance issue because of extra traffic. That's our assumption. And the goal of this practice is to show you how to manually discover performance issues by using same EM Express Performance Pages as well as ADDM. In the second part of a practice, you are going to correct the previously found issue by creating sequence number instead of by using the table or index. Okay, so I want to derive index key value from the sequence, but this time we try index key from sequence, but without recommended setting. There are 4 options: cache order, cache no order, no cache no order, no cache order. So you can create sequence 4 different ways. If you want to derive index key from sequence in RAC environment, one possible recommendation is cache no order option. Okay, so that's one possible option. And also the same thing, the last part is the same workload as the previous practice activity, but use more cache entries for sequence number. So we're going to actually also derive index key value from sequence. So second and third example is, assumption is you have selective index, so index being used by many of the queries, and you also expect DML as well. So you will have to find out way to optimally manage the index, the workload on indexes. So if you can derive index key from sequence number, then how would you create the sequence? So cache no order option will be one option, and also the caching enough number of a sequence number, that will be another good option. So let's take a look at practice 8-1. So note that all necessary scripts for this practice are located in the stage RAC labs lesson 08 directory. And we're going to open terminal window, and then we access to host share 1. But this time I will use X window because we're going to start Firefox browser to start Enterprise Manager. Oracle host 01, and then provide the password .ORA/ENV ORCL. So what we want to do, we want to check instance name in the current host. We have different ways to find out. So I used this method. So my current instance in our name is ORCL5, just to check. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually locate a script in this directory, and we're gonna actually prepare this practice setup. So what I'm gonna do, I will just open, or actually I can check more setup sequence 1. .sh script. So let's review. Okay, so let's see. Connect edge-assist DBA. Okay, we don't need this. Connect edge-assist DBA, and then we have ADDM setup and drop table and drop existing sequences and also drop tables. We are creating table and also a table named S and with a single column, and table T with the 2 columns, and we have an index. And also we're gonna insert into table T, okay, and we have an index on column C on this table. So just to simulate workload generation, and we're gonna make scenarios like this. When you actually insert, and your index also will get updated, and if this is a RAC environment, blocks will be transferred across multiple instances. So I'm gonna run this. And while it's running, I'm gonna move on to next step. And then we're gonna log in edge-assist DBA to set Enterprise Manager Express port. So again, in this location, instance name was ORCL5. So I can use ORCL5 in this way, or you can use export Oracle seed ORCL5. So whichever, you can choose your preferred option. And I will log in edge-assist DBA. And then I'm gonna run dbms xdb config set HTTP port 5501. And also you can use set HTTPS port and different number. So we have different choices. So I'm gonna use HTTP port to set up Enterprise Manager Database Express port. And once this is done, I will exit out, and then I will start Firefox. Okay, this is done. And then I'm gonna exit out. And then I'm gonna start Firefox, hit enter. I'm gonna minimize this, move this onto this area. And then I'm gonna type address. Address, what we're gonna use is this, HTTP, and then scan host name. So in this case, HTTP cluster01-scan cluster01.example.com :5501. Okay, do you remember scan? We had this clusterway installation, and that time we had to provide the cluster information. My database running out of a clustered environment, so we provided a cluster scan information here. And I will hit enter. The first time when you get into, you will get check for update and plugin related warning messages. So what you're gonna do, just like a manual, you see a green icon in the left hand side, and just click this and allow and remember. From this point, So you can actually view login page. And then in the login page, login as a sys user, and password is Oracle_4 uppercase U, and sys user is a sysdba user. So I will log in as a sysdba. And once you've done that, then you will also create snapshot. So we executed a script to set up environment, and before generating workload, and we're gonna create snapshot as a good starting point, so we can capture workload, and then we can start we can actually start review. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna create snapshot. And once the snapshot is created, that's a good starting point. And we're gonna open second terminal window. So we'll open second terminal window, and I will connect to host 01, and password is Oracle. And I will get into script location. Again, when you do practice activity, spend more time to understand. And I'm just giving you short demonstration. So let's see locking information, and you will see initial locking. That's initial locking. Okay, we have a sys RAC connection and sys connection, and that is default locking before generating workload. And then what we're gonna do is, from the first Oracle terminal, execute workload script. So I will access to this. Now I will execute this script, and just let it run. So we don't have to touch this. So while our workload is being generated, and we're gonna come back to second terminal window. So this window, and then we're gonna run lock information again. Now you should see a little more locking now. So because of additional, workload, they added additional locks. So we have this information. When you look at this again, cannot slash. When you execute script this again, and also you see same similar lock information. So your workload is in progress. So you have a different kind of locks. That's additional locks. While it is in progress, what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually use Enterprise Manager, Database Express to review your workload. I created in a screenshot, and so you can actually follow this screenshot the information to do a practice activity. So the first thing what you're gonna do, you go to Performance Hub, and then you set up your refresh to 15 seconds. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna actually make this, I'm gonna move it to another page. So this is my page. I will make it bigger. And also, let me change this entire screen. Zoom in and zoom in. So that way we can see a little better. Slightly better. So I will actually change it, text a little bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna go to performance page and performance hub page. And then let's come back here. You set it to 15 seconds. And then what you're gonna see in the active session view is you will see workload with the cluster and application wait classes. So many of the sessions currently waiting because of a block transfer over the network. And also application level locking means applications blocking the other session, maybe through the object level. So that's what you can see. So let's go back here, and we have an active session here in this area, active sessions. And as you can see, let me actually change it to 15 seconds. to refresh more frequently as time goes on. And you can see that we have, at this point, total number of sessions is 2 average active sessions. So these 2 average active sessions currently, now more, so about 4 average active sessions currently working on in this database. So we do have about 3.5. So in this case, 1.8, about 1.5 sessions transferring blocks over the network, and we also have about 1 session that is locking object. So that that will cause the waiting from the other sessions. So as time goes on, you will see this kind of information. So let's come back here. And also you can check transaction supported. So with this environment, how much transaction was supported? So we have a workload, where you can actually go back here. You go to actual workload, and you have to check transaction. So in the given time, how many transactions were served per second? So in this example, and this is number. Let me see, a transaction is here. So 238 transactions per second. So you can see here, yellow color, and this is the execution. So we are looking at actual transaction. So about 238 transactions were served. So let's come back here. So when I tested, it was about 120, 180 per second. Okay, actually, I suppose change this to transaction. So when you do this, you will have to check transaction per second. So just like this. And also, you can see activities, instance activities. So let's take a look at this. Go to this location, and then we have transactions here, and a little bit of transactions here. So we have transactions across, but there's no transactions in the ORCL 1 and ORCL 1 and 2, other than in this case read. I think this is only metadata transfer. So your most transactions around this these instances. It's a hub node. So that's what you can see, because we are making a transaction right now. So let's come back here. And also, you will actually access to a host 01 instance. In our case, ORCL 1, ORCL 5. And then you're going to actually view activities. And then you will click top SQL statement. And then you will see what is the top SQL statement in that example. So let me actually go to ORCL 5 in this example. Your output may be slightly different, but it should be similar enough. So they should be very close. So now what we're gonna do, we have activity, and also we have a workload. So when you go to an activity page, and as you can see, we have a top SQL statement. So this is top SQL statement. So this SQL statement goes to the application wait, probably because of a locking. So as you can see, this is a lock table command. This is one thing what we found easily. So your application is locking in a table that caused waiting issue at the application level. So let's come back here. And also you can view further top session, and which session is considered as a top session. So this session, where I can come back. And then we have this top session. I will click this, and top session username is JMW. So that's what we can see here. So when you do practice activity, it will be very easy to follow because we have all screenshots here. And also, you can place a cursor over SQL text as well. And then you will see which SQL statement is in progress right now by this user. So actually, this job is done in this example. And this was, what was that? Lock table and select and insert and update. So this was concurrent insert and update and select statement. So that's what we could see from here. So because of a concurrent insert update, blocks transferred over the network, and because of an application locked table, and because of that, we also have application level wait event as well. That's actually what we observed. So let's come back here. Now we're gonna do is we're gonna actually access to performance hub page again, and then let's take a look at global cache activity. And what you're gonna learn is you should see cumulative transfer rate in excess of 500 blocks per second. So over the network, in this example, we observed over 500 blocks per second block transfer over the network. So what about here? So I'm gonna come back to performance hub page. And we have a global cache. And this example, it's about 800. So, it transferred a little more blocks per second. So in this case, 475.11 per second. And consistent read block transfer is 421, around 850 blocks transferred per second. Okay, if this is in a practical environment, you're in a production environment, this is not much, but think about that. This block number is really high. Okay, so that may cause your performance issue because of excessive block transfer over the network. But I'm just giving you an example. So when you make concurrent insert and update statement across instances, and you will observe a block transfer, even though in this example it's about 850. It's not much. If this were gigabit Ethernet, it's not much. But in a real scenario, you can observe block transfer in this way. And also, after workload finish, and you will cancel if a workload is still running, or you can actually just hit enter or Control C to stop this workload, and then we're gonna create new snapshot. So let's take a look at here. So I'm gonna hit enter, so it returned the prompt back, and I'm gonna create new snapshot. And the next thing what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually review ADDM, the latest ADDM. So in the performance hub page, we click ADDM tab, and then we're gonna locate the latest ADDM report. So I created a new snapshot. I will minimize it, come back to this page, and go to performance hub page. And then we have ADDM tapped page. So I have a latest report here. Click this. And also we have here, look at this findings. So we have a top SQL statement found, and also global cache message transfer found, and also buffer busy found, and also your the block transfer and activities are mostly through two of the instances in the hub node. Okay, that's what you can see. So we actually click top SQL statement, and it will show you top SQL statement detected, and also you see the actions that we should take. The lock table was found, and also other SQL statements were found. So we had an insert statement and select statement, update statements. That was a part of a SQL PL SQL block, right? So lock table, select statement, insert statement, update statement. That's what we found. And the next finding is the table locks. That's what we saw. We also had a block transfer as well. So look at top SQL statement finding for SQL statement consuming significant time on cluster weight. So one SQL statement caused cluster level weight because of a block transfer. Okay, so that's what you can view from here. So this is for your review. And again, when you do practice activity, review all these the items and findings and report, spending enough time. And we're gonna keep all these terminal sessions for next practice activity. And this was the practice 8-1. Remember that what we did, and we simulated the workload, concurrent workload across multiple instances, locking table, and also generating insert load and update load. And then while updating underlying tables, we also touch the indexes as well. Suppose that you have one table with 20 indexes, for example. It's not uncommon in certain environment. I had one customer with a table with 400 columns and with 20 indexes. So what that means is when you insert, when you update, okay, a table, then 20 indexes must be modified. So 20 blocks of 20 indexes must be transferred across the instances. So you will see worse, the worst observation, if this were your real scenario. Okay, so that's what we saw from practice 8-1.